really can't wait until the daybreak comes and we can raise our sails up, way up high. 1, 2, sunshine, then we go. Hello everyone and welcome back to another top 5 video of me counting down my top 5 moments from episodes 500 to 600. This is like the middle of the show at this current point in time, so we still got a lot of top 5 moments to do. And I mean, at the time I'm recording this video, I'm on episode 638 of One Piece, so it's like I'm already almost halfway through the next 100. It's insane how fast these episodes go when you do 7 episodes a week. But yeah, anyway, if you want to see my up-to-date reactions, they're on my Patreon account. Otherwise, you can just subscribe to this channel and see the reactions as they come out, edited here, or you can join my YouTube membership to get it a week early. But basically today, these videos, the top 5 videos, I really like doing, and I like that you guys get to see my top 5 moments each 100 episodes, but at the same time they tend to take a little bit of time to do. So I'm changing things up a little bit this time, and all I mean by that is I think this video is going to be a little less than it normally is, because these videos take quite a long time to do, and I feel like there's a lot I have to do right now. But also, I think in some cases less is more. You guys might not need me to be going as in depth as I sometimes do on these discussions and putting like as many reaction clips as I used to in. So instead, I'm going to try to keep most of this countdown pretty short and sweet. I'll still give my thoughts on why I liked it, and I mean, I don't know how this is gonna go because I haven't recorded it yet, obviously, but sometimes I might still go off on tangents and talk for a while because I have a tendency to do that. If you watch this channel, you know sometimes I just yap and yap and yap and yap and I can't stop myself. But my plan is to not do a really in-depth like 10-minute discussion on each moment. Instead, it's gonna be I'm gonna say the moment and I'm gonna say why I like it, and then we move forward. So hopefully you guys like that. If you want to support me, make sure to tell me in the comments that you like the video, and also click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also like watch the whole video if you can. I'll try to make it more succinct for you, but please try to watch the whole video. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna just jump into the top 5. I'm pretty keen to do this. This was a pretty tough top 5 to choose, I would say, but I don't think it was as difficult as the last few. I think there were like some standout moments in these 100 episodes that I was like, well, that's absolutely in the top 5. When sometimes in the previous 2 top 5s, I feel like it's been like, oh my god, I don't even like, there have been moments that really should be top 5 that didn't even make the countdown. So so I'm excited about this. We're going all the way from 5 to 1, and there will also be some honorable mentions as always later in the video, so keep an eye out for that as well. But anyway, let's start with number 5. At number 5 on my top 5 list is learning about haki. Holy shit! Is he gonna learn about haki in these 2 years? Oh my gosh. So haki was always a pretty mysterious subject, I feel like, with One Piece. And I had heard people say haki before. I didn't really know what it meant. But you know, people in the show would like mention it, like, oh, he must have strong haki or whatever, and like we really didn't know what it was. And then right before the time skip, we just get a straight up explanation of, okay, here is exactly what it is and how it works. And I loved that. It was like we had so many questions, and in one episode they just like answered basically all of my questions that I had about it at the time. And it was really exciting because I was kind of worried that haki was like almost going to take over as the new power system, in the same way that like stands took over in JoJo over Hamon. Is that what it was called? Which, I mean, that was a good choice in JoJo because stands were so much more interesting. But I felt like in One Piece, I really liked, you know, Devil's Fruits and the training, like military training with the 6 powers and stuff. Like I already liked the power sets they had set up. But what we ended up finding was that haki, once they explained it, I was like, oh no, this is just supplementary. This is just meant to add a little sprinkle on top of the power sets that are already there. So it works really nicely. I ended up really liking the way that haki works. I think it's super fun, and what a good teacher for us to have for haki as well. It was great. I think it was awesome, and that's why it's my top 5 moment. At number 4 is our first encounter with Big Mom. What's the compromise? Yeah, I think that was the idea initially. Oh, he's coming. Now this one, I mean, I call it an encounter. We didn't meet her. We didn't actually, like, the Straw Hats didn't see her. But I do think this was a really cool moment for me, and this stuck out in my head when I was thinking of these top 5 moments, because just the tease of characters. I mean, you're gonna see a sort of pattern throughout my videos, throughout my top 5 moments, where a lot of the times when it's teasing of lore that is to come, I feel like Oda does that so well that it always gets me really hyped, and I often in these top 5 moments, I feel like I often sprinkle in some, like, these are lore teasers for future, but they were some of the best moments of the show, because One Piece does it beautifully. In this moment, we're talking to Big Mom, like, we sort of see her, and she looks, like, really terrifying, like, so terrifying that I feel like when we actually see her, she's gonna be more goofy. I don't know. I haven't gotten up to episodes where she's, like, properly in it yet, but I feel like she's probably gonna be, like, more goofy of a character, but they really, like, played on the horror aspects, and it was quite terrifying. So yeah, there was some cool shit there, and then on top of that, Luffy just, like, essentially challenging her, just threatening her at long distance, really sets up for a future thing. And I'm saying this, as I said, I haven't seen bits where Big Mom's actually in it yet, but that's a really cool setup for her. So, like, it's made me excited for the arc that she's gonna be in, and like that's good, because I didn't know if I was gonna be excited for a Big Mom arc. I had known kind of about Big Mom's character before starting One Piece, but you know, when I, like, look at her design and stuff, I'm like, it doesn't look like the sort of character that I would like. So I wasn't really excited for it until this moment. So when Oda can get me looking forward to something that otherwise I wouldn't have been looking forward to at all, that's a great thing. So well done to Oda for that, and well done to this moment. It was super fun. Oh shit. Jesus, Luffy! That's pretty badass. At number 3 is the Fisher Tiger backstory. Someone hug her! Hachi, hug her with all your arms. Oh. It's okay to cry. This is really, Oda is so good at this. I was talking about this in a more recent video that I did. It might not even be up on YouTube yet. I think it was a Dressrosa reaction that I was talking about this. But Oda in most of the arcs tends to have some sort of big lore backstory that doesn't necessarily directly relate to the main characters, but relates to the themes of the arc, you know? I mean, we have Kalgara backstory, we have the Fisher Tiger backstory, we have this sort of, like, well, I was about to just basically repeat the Kalgara backstory, but you know, obviously Oda-hime in this as well, and there's another one that I can't think of right now, but there's, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's those backstories that, like, don't fully directly relate to us, but are still very relevant. And the Fisher Tiger one, I feel like, was one of the best of those backstories. It is a really great story. I loved the contrast of it with Otohime. I will say this slot was between Fisher Tiger and Otohime, and I mean, I kind of counted as a win for both of them because it works so well because both of those characters are in it. But I thought the Fisher Tiger one just eked it out because of the introduction of the kid, Koala, I think is her name. And we get to see sort of how caring Fisher Tiger properly is through this character. And like the moment where Fisher Tiger tells her, like grabs her and yells like, it's okay to cry, that moment, I go back and I rewatch that moment so much. I mean, I have a TikTok of my reaction to that moment, but I go back and rewatch that moment a lot because I really, really love that. As someone who, you guys have seen me cry on this channel quite a bit, I do very often cry, and I also, you know, tell other people there's nothing wrong with crying. You know, people make fun of me for crying on this channel often, I would say. Mostly times when it's like a video that goes out of my main sphere of like fans. You know, maybe when a TikTok gets like more views than normal or something like that, people will, you know, sometimes comment on it, making fun of me for crying. And it's like, I don't give a fuck what you think. Crying is a great thing. Crying can be a really great way to express your emotions, and there's nothing embarrassing about that. I don't care that I'm a dude. I can cry as much as I want. I can cry like a little girl. It doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with it. People repress their emotions a lot. I try not to, especially on this channel. I mean, you guys are here to see my emotions, my unfiltered emotions. That's what I'm gonna give you. So that backstory with that message and that character worked so beautifully. I loved it a lot. It was a great backstory, and that's why it's number 3. This is amazing. Is she crying? Oh. Oh, this is fucking great. We're already down to the top 2. See, I told you we were gonna be doing this pretty quickly. At number 2 is the time skip. Oh, my baby! This is so exciting. So, say what you want about the time skip. I mean, I've heard mixed things over time. You know, some people prefer One Piece pre-time skip to post-time skip. Well, I would say like a lot of people have said that, you know, post-time skip, they lost a lot of things. There was a lot of stuff that happened, whatever. Doesn't matter, because the point is, like, what I'm talking about here isn't the existence of the time skip and everything that happens after. What I'm talking about is the actual time skip itself. That moment where we start the show again, but from like 2 years later. I think this was a beautifully done time skip. I haven't watched enough episodes post time skip to have like a strong. I've only watched Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, and I've started Dressrosa. So like I haven't watched enough episodes to know what my opinions are fully on post time skip One Piece versus pre time skip One Piece. So far, I'm loving post time skip One Piece, but you know, overall, I'm not going to give my opinions on all of that. But I will say the actual time skip itself was done really, really nicely. It was exciting to see how all of these characters have grown. It was really interesting to like see the design changes, even though like as I said, even though maybe I prefer a lot of the pre-time skip designs, I really appreciate the decisions that were made to make these characters look different and feel different, and like make it feel like time had passed. I think that was done really beautifully. The fact that they all came together at the archipelago is like such a great location for it as well. Like it's a location that we as an audience at that point have a pretty strong emotional attachment to because of what happened last time that they were there. And like just everything about it. And also the fact that we went through basically an entire saga before that without the Straw Hats being together. So getting to see them reunite is so immensely satisfying. And now, once again, that I'm past that thing, I'm taking for granted the fact that the crew were all together again. But like there was that whole Summit War saga really makes you like miss the Straw Hats and their chemistry together. And so they did a really great job at bringing them together slowly but surely and making those reunions exciting and cute and fun. I mean, as a huge Nami fanboy, like seeing the Nami and Usopp reunion, where like that's kind of, I think that's the first one we see, and they just like Nami immediately like hugs Usopp, and it's like a really exciting, fun moment. And I mean, they did a boob joke as well, where it's like his face was buried in her boobs or whatever, but it wasn't like a weird boob joke. It was just like a funny, like, hey, she has boobs and it got in the way. But that whole moment is adorable to me, makes me really excited. And to see how strong Luffy is post time skip as well, just feels like, holy shit, we're in for some good fights after this. Like, as soon as you see how strong Luffy is, it gets really exciting to see the potential of where this show's going now. So yeah, the time skip, number 2 moment. Now, before we get to the number 1, which I'm sure a lot of you would have guessed what it is, we're going to do some honorable mentions, things that didn't make the top 5, but I think deserve to at least be talked about. So, here they are. The first one is Otohime's death scene. I mean, as I said, her entire backstory is so good. The second one is Luffy taking out the 50,000 soldiers, I think it was, with one blast of haki in Fishman Island. So good. Number 3 was the Hordy Jones quote-unquote reveal. I know some people may have had mixed reactions to this moment, but you can go watch my video to see why I thought this reveal was actually a really cool idea thematically and really fit with what Fishman Island was supposed to be. Then we also have the Red Hawk. The Red Hawk attack, such a cool attack. Like, it made something that might not have been super memorable, but they made it into a fun, memorable attack that also takes into account Luffy's history. It's really great. Then we have the Law Alliance. I mean, this was something that was really unexpected, something we didn't even think, but Law proposing an alliance with Luffy, really cool. And finally, this one only just landed in the 500 to 600 range, but the Virgo introduction is really cool. I thought Virgo was a really cool character. Very simple character, but very, very cool. Did his job perfectly. Pretty funny, and the introduction to him was pretty sick. And now, it's time for the number 1 moment from episodes 500 to 600. People reminded me of this moment to make sure that I put it in my list, and after all of those episodes, it's still my number 1 moment. This is Luffy realizing that he wants his crew.
That's true. Yeah.
Your crew. Go and get your fucking crew. No, I mean, you have to go back to the archipelago, I think. Oh. This moment is beautiful. I can't, this is like really, really early. This is like 501 or 2 or 3. It's like within the first 5 or so episodes of this group of 100 episodes. And so I think I said in the episode, like, I hope I don't forget about this moment when I'm making my list. And people reminded me, but they didn't even need to. As soon as I was going through what happened in these 100 episodes, that this was sticking in my mind the entire time. Thinks of his first mate. Oh god, this episode. This moment is one of the most beautiful moments, emotional moments in the show to me. Genuinely, like, this show has had a whole lot of emotional moments. I like the Robin moment, I want to live moment, you know, that is really amazing. The Straw Hats putting up the X's for Vivi is really amazing. Like, the Luffy help me with Nami, like, all of that is so amazing. This is up there with all of those moments. And he's counting them off on his hand. And it is like just so pure and beautiful, and the build up to it is immaculate. This moment works so well because of what we had to go through to get there. We had to go through that whole arc of pain after loss after loss. Oda really beats us down, like really destroys us, takes us to the depths of despair, so that when this moment hits, and we want to think about what's important, and Luffy thinks about his crew and getting back together with them, that moment hits stronger than like anything else you could have done right then, you know? Like, I'm the sort of person who I don't tend to cry super heavily at death scenes or anything, because like intense sadness doesn't get me as emotional as, I don't even know, like other emotional moments, as like happy emotional moments or relief or just longing. And this moment was a weight off of Luffy's shoulders as he realizes what he truly needs to find and what he truly needs to do. So I just love this moment so much, guys. It's a beautiful, incredible moment. It's one of my favorite episodes of One Piece, I think, in general. Like, the whole episode was so brilliant and had this as the ending. It's one of Oda's finest bits of writing, in my opinion. So it absolutely deserves the top spot on this 100 episode countdown. So that is my number one.
Do you still have your crew? You just have to find them.
So there it is. See, it was shorter than normal, I feel like, each of those discussions, but that was my top 5 moments of episode 500 to 600. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to support the video if you can, liking, commenting, subscribing. Go to my Patreon account if you want the full-length reactions of my videos and early access. You can get the next 20 or so episodes on there right now. You can also join my YouTube membership down below to get the next week of videos, which means by the time you're watching this, you can get what is it? What is even on? You'll almost be at the end of Punk Hazard. I think the end of Punk Hazard is going up in 2 days. So, you know, there's some good episodes on my YouTube account. But if you join my Patreon account right now, we're already in Dressrosa. I'm having a great time with Dressrosa, so you can jump in there as well. But thank you for joining me. Make sure to comment down below what were your favorite moments of this list of 100. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.